Pop quiz. In Marvel Comics, which Greek god was an initial investor in Stark Industries, investing $100,000? But when they tried to calculate this investment in modern times, well, they needed a second line of zeros. He's not the god of money, but Hercules certainly has a lot of it. Marvel Snap's newest god is here to save an entire archetype. Well, maybe. I have my reservations. We'll get to that in a bit. But first, who is Hercules? Born as the son of Zeus, ruler of the Olympian gods, and a mortal woman, Alcmene, when Zeus seduced Alcmene while pretending to be her husband. It's a whole messed up story. Hercules ends up being raised by Alcmene's real husband, Amphitryon, who trains him in all forms of combat, which together with his godly strength, thank you birth dad Zeus, helped him succeed in his legendary 12 labors. He attained godhood and immortality in 1246 BC after his death and subsequent resurrection by Zeus. He's had many battles with Thor and through the centuries has gone from a brash warrior to a noble hero, being a key member of the Avengers. He's also quite the ladies' man, apparently. In Marvel Snap, Hercules is a 4-energy 6-power card with the ability, the first time another card moves here each turn, move it to another location. So, the most obvious synergy is with the Move archetype.
I like to move it, move it.
Multiple Man, Human Torch, Vulture, and Dagger. You move them into a lane with Hercules, Herc will yeet them right out of that lane, proccing their ability for a second time. So, technically on turn 5, you could get Human Torch to 1-8, Vulture to 3-13, and Dagger even bigger if the board is already filled up on your opponent's side. You put Kraven in a different lane from Hercules, and Herc could be feeding those move cards into Kraven's lane for even more power. Now, the question is, will it be enough power to compete against the likes of a Blob or a High Evo deck? Look, I love playing Move, but it has struggled to compete against a lot of the meta decks. Maybe Hercules changes that, but I don't know, man. I feel like if he were a 3-cost, he would be more impactful because he only does his thing once per turn, and 2 turns is kind of not a lot of time to build up the power you need to compete with the other meta decks.
But wait, Mr. Young, didn't you say 1-8 Human Torch, 3-13 Vulture? Those are great stats!
Yeah, but you need 3 cards to pull that off. Hercules on the board, the Move card, and the Move Enabler. It's a lot of RNG to depend on. Look, don't get me wrong, I am excited to play Move again, because not a lot of people play Move, so if you know how to work it, you could be catching a lot of people by surprise. Now, it's important to note that he moves not just your cards, but your opponent's cards as well. So if your opponent is playing a Move deck as well, you better have initiative. If not, they can move their cards to your lane first and take advantage of your Hercules. That's a pretty big con if you ask me. But also because of that interaction, you can use Hercules as a defensive play against cards moving into a locked out lane, like Flooded, Kiln, or the Vault. So you Storm on 3, Hercules on 4, and if your opponent tries to move something like a Nightcrawler or Jeff into that flooded lane, Hercules is like, nope, out you go. Hey look, I'm happy that the Move archetype finally gets another toy to play with. I just don't know if it's the card that'll make Move relevant again. It's kinda niche, so if you love the Move archetype, Hercules is a card you'll probably want. If you have never tried or don't care to learn Move, then it's a card you can skip. I mean, he is 6,000 collector's tokens after all, and as far as the Spotlight caches goes, well, Werewolf by Night is probably the only card worth trying for if you don't already have him. Hey, it looks like a week to save your tokens and keys, unless Hercules proves me wrong and kicks the Move archetype into a whole other gear. Crazier things have happened, right? In the meantime,